So thank you all for being here this afternoon, and this marks a very special day for my community, our community, here as we try to reopen Fort Lauderdale in phase one of in the midst of our coronavirus outbreak. After 2 months of hard work to curb the rate of infection of this COVID-19 virus, we have shown enough success that we can partially open significant parts of our economy, including restaurants, retail stores, salons, and gyms. We stand here just off of the historic Las Olas Boulevard, a street that traditionally is abuzz with shoppers and diners. Some businesses have already reopened today, and more will do so in the coming days as their owners do finalize their method of operation. COVID-19 has definitely reshaped our lives and will continue to do so for months to come as scientists search for a cure and a vaccine. So it is not enough to say that businesses may reopen. We must offer the public sufficient assurances that we are taking necessary precautions to protect your own health. It is with this promise that individuals will regain confidence and feel comfortable to go out for dinner, shopping for a new outfit, getting their hair cut, or hitting their stair stepper at the gym. I got my haircut today, if you didn't notice. Thank you.
Very nice.
Thank you. Okay. For that reason, I've gathered leaders from across our business community to explain how we are going to allow business to operate while also protecting public health. This will lay out details such as how salon stations will be cleansed after each use, and single-use condiments will replace salt shakers and ketchup bottles in restaurants. But much of what lies ahead are safety measures that you are already growing accustomed to practicing. Face masks will be standard. Social distancing will be required. Crowd sizes will be limited. Good hygiene, such as frequent hand washing, is a must. Those who are elderly or have compromised immune systems should continue to exercise caution about going out and limiting those trips to essential needs. We've learned many vital lessons about managing COVID-19 in the time in which only essential businesses could be open and families sheltered at home. The ways we stayed safe at Publix and CVS will apply more broadly, supplemented by some additional but similarly common sense and easy to follow guidance. Let me state this emphatically. Our efforts to fight COVID-19 have worked exceedingly well. We have met the public health measurements to move into phase one of reopening. The infection rates have steeply declined in our community, thank God. We went from a high of 13% of the test results being positive during the first week, April 11th, to just under 4% each of the past 2 weeks. Testing is now widely available, and our hospitals are again operating normally. Frankly, COVID-19 never impacted us as some expected and others feared. Some said Florida was the next New York or would even be worse. Those prognostications were far, far from the truth. We acted early, boldly, and efficiently to combat COVID-19. As a result, we stemmed its spread. And I want to personally thank Governor Ron DeSantis for working with us to reach this moment today. He and his top assistants have been in regular contact with us, with me in particular, since the beginning of this pandemic. They offered assistance wherever we asked, including joining our effort to establish a testing site right here in our city. They focused on the empirical data of COVID-19 infections. And in their decision-making, as a result, they neither rushed to reopen our area nor unnecessarily delayed the move. What is occurring today is in accordance with the guidelines for the reopening established by the Centers for Disease Control and the White House. In addition, though, a lot of thought went into the specific plans being implemented for our community. As your mayor, I created a Blue Ribbon working group of more than 20 of our top business executives, neighborhood leaders, and medical professionals to provide their best ideas on how our community should open. They all understood that while we were anxious to return to work and get back to those activities we so enjoy, we had to do so in a phased, cautious fashion in order to avoid any rebound in the virus. Just as businesses are reopening, we are also restoring amenities. Since April 29th, we've allowed parks, boat ramps, marinas, golf courses, and community pools to be open on a restricted basis. As of today, the hours of parks and boat ramps have been extended. This will allow those who have returned to work to still enjoy these options. We are also allowing multifamily developments to open their gyms and other amenities in addition to their pools. Finally, I've instructed the city manager and city attorney to work with the chief building official, to allow more interior construction work to occur. We fully intend to continue to open more of our city in the coming days and weeks. Many ask why we did not open beaches to passive recreation as part of these initial steps. There are several critical reasons we delayed, even as we know the public yearns to walk and jog along the beach or swim in the ocean. The most significant problem is that Miami-Dade communities are not opening their beaches at this time. With Memorial Day around the corner, opening our beaches while theirs remain closed would raise serious concerns for public health, safety, and the enforcement of these rules. Large crowds from a two-county area would descend on our beach. I don't know how we could guarantee that social distancing and other public health rules could be followed. In discussions with other coastal cities here in Broward, we plan to open the beaches soon after the holiday, Memorial Day. Please stay tuned for that announcement. In conclusion, you have my assurance that we will closely monitor public health data as we begin to return to a degree of normal life. If warranted, we will make adjustments to the Phase 1 regulations. So I stand here to encourage people to visit their favorite businesses. Personally, I've already had a haircut. With that, I turn the program over to Dan Lindblade and Bill Feinberg of the Greater Fort Lauderdale Chamber of Commerce to discuss general guidance that businesses will now be following.
Thank you, Mayor. A little cleaning first. And good afternoon, everyone. My name is Bill Feinberg. I am Chairman of the Greater Fort Lauderdale Chamber of Commerce. I'm also the President of Allied Kitchen and Bath, a local small business that's been here in Fort Lauderdale for the past 36 years. And today I'm here standing before you representing the business community and to tell you a little bit about our showroom and some of the things that we've done. You know, as a general contractor, I must say the city of Fort Lauderdale has been incredible to work with. Dean and Chris, Mayor, your team has been amazing working with us while we were closed. As an essential contractor, we have still been able to conduct business even during the time that we were closed, slightly. And the building department has been amazing, so thank you, Mayor, and your team. We have taken many steps, and I encourage all the businesses to take the same steps, and that is making sure that our showrooms and our stores are clean, that they're safe, and that we're taking all the precautionary measures to make sure that we social distance, that our clients come into our showroom wearing masks and gloves, and just really doing things in a smart manner so that we do not wind up being closed down. We have to do this smart. We are so lucky to be open in such a short amount of time. Many people thought this was going to be much longer. So we are in a position right now where we can be the face of South Florida, the face of America, and show how we can do it right. As a community, I believe that we are stronger now than ever. We will come back stronger. We were the 12th largest economy in our nation, and we will come back stronger than ever. I encourage everyone to work and support our small businesses. Let's buy American. Let's participate and shop at our local stores and do everything that we can to support our local businesses. With that, I would like to just turn this over to Dan Lindblade, CEO of the Greater Fort Lauderdale Chamber.
Thanks, Bill. Get this off. There we go. So one of the things that I think is really important as we enter Phase 1 is to really step back for just a second and think about all the people who have lost their jobs. Thousands of individuals have either been furloughed or have lost their work. Hundreds and hundreds of companies have ended up not being able to make it. We had a new business every hour shutting their doors for good. So we're in a position now where, while we're excited about reopening our economy and we're excited about moving forward slowly, cautiously, optimistically, we have to make sure as a community of business leaders, as a community of residents, buyers, of our purveyors of goods, that we go in and apply all of the standards that we've been talking about. The protocols are there. The mayor was the first mayor in South Florida to establish a task force to set forth these protocols. And those protocols are going to be followed. And the business community and our residents are going to hold hands together to make sure that we keep our masks on, we keep our distances, and we make sure that we love it local. One of the campaigns that we're putting together right now, countywide, is a Love It Local campaign, and that's going to be focused on returning to those companies that are selling locally here. Finally, I'll share with you that right before we came over here, we had a countywide webinar going through all of the different standards and protocols. There's a big educational front that we have to put out there. We have handouts that we've given the media today to kind of go through a checklist and guidelines that you're going to hear more about from our speakers and our owners of businesses here. But let's just approach this with eyes wide open. Let's approach it together. Thank you to the city manager for his leadership and his staff. Thank you to the mayor for all that he's done in his leadership and his chief of staff, Scott Wyman. We couldn't have done this. We couldn't have gotten to this point this quickly if it hadn't have been for working together. Mayor, I'll throw it back to you.
Dan, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
The businesses that you mentioned that shut down, can you elaborate on that a little bit? How many are we talking about? How difficult will it be to entice other businesses to open in this climate?
So the exact number of those who have closed for good, we don't know. That information is still being tabulated nationally. So that's a national number when we say one every hour. But suffice it to say, with all the businesses that we have, and we represent about, at the Chamber, 1,200 companies, 500,000 employees. So I would probably say in our small neck of the woods, we could probably have 50 of that since we went into this have probably shelter or closed for good. What are they going to do to incentivize this? Obviously the CARES Act was big to sustain some of the companies. The unemployment, while it's been difficult, the money that came down, the extra $600 from Congress and the money that comes through $250 from the state, that's going to help people get back on their feet and start spending some money. So we look at it as a real opportunity. All the signs that we had at the beginning, right before we went in this, our economy was cooking. So there's no reason why we can't bring that economy back, but we're going to have to approach it logically and slowly.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you so much. Thank you. You know, I think a shout out is definitely deserved by our city manager, his staff. He's here, I know, right over here. Thank you so much, Chris Lagerbloom, his staff, everybody that has worked together to make these things happen, to coordinate efforts with the county and with other cities. I also want to thank our police chief, Rick Maglione, who's also here. Thank you so much for organizing our first responders along with our fire chief, Rhoda May Kerr. Thank you. You know, we have an outstanding city staff from one end of the spectrum to the next, and I cannot thank them enough for the extra effort each and every one of them has made, weekends, at nights, just taking on challenges that we've never before had to encounter. So thank you folks for being there for the rest of the community. So I now would like to introduce Tim Petrillo of the Restaurant People and Mike Weymouth of the Las Olas Company to discuss restaurant standards. I'm sure so many of us have never realized what eating at home meant until this past couple of months, and now we can hopefully return to dining out and taking advantage of the wonderful opportunities we have here in Fort Lauderdale. Gentlemen?
Good afternoon. I just want to thank the mayor for his leadership during this unprecedented time. I can tell you that I was fortunate enough to work on that task force, and he really reached out to people to make sure you understand the issues that the business community was facing. So I appreciate that, Mayor. Thank you. I can't imagine that there's been a more challenging time to be a mayor than in the last year in the city of Fort Lauderdale, so great job. As we begin to open our restaurants, we're super excited to get back to business. We will remain closed until Thursday because we are doing 3 days of training in our new COVID environment. As we begin to open our restaurants, here's what you can expect from the Restaurant People. The Restaurant People is a company that's based in Fort Lauderdale. We have 12 restaurants here in Fort Lauderdale and 45 restaurants in 5 different states. We are committed to make sure that we are opening the safest, cleanest environments possible. I can assure you we've gone to great lengths to make sure our guests will feel safe and enjoy dining out once again. We will be practicing social distancing, outlining areas for guests to adhere to. We will be operating at 50% indoors and 100% outside, but making sure that we're staying 6 feet apart. In regards to sanitation and cleanliness, we have engaged sanitation experts to come in and train our staff to proper way of cleaning and sanitation of the COVID environment. Our restaurants will be safe. Each employee will be certified safe, and a certificate will be given to them upon completion. Each night, we will do a deep cleaning of our restaurants to make sure that we are clear of any contamination and in cohesive with the CDC guidelines. We will be treating our restaurants with Prevent X 24/7, which is a cleaning solution that kills viruses and germs on contact for up to 30 days. We will have sanitation stations placed throughout the restaurants for both guests and our team members to utilize. We have changed the way we will be delivering our service. We will be using digital menus or one-time use paper menus for the guests, and it will be disposed of after each use. Full sanitation protocols will be in place once our guest has finished their dining experience. At the table, there will be free of table setting, and only single-use condiments will be delivered upon guests per their request. In regards to our employees' health, all of our service staffs will be wearing masks. Anyone who is dealing with food preparation or food handling will be required to wear masks and gloves. We put protocols in place such as a health log that at each shift the employee's temperature will be taken, and there will be a questionnaire of COVID environment symptoms. If any of our team members test even one question that comes up positive, we will make sure that employee gets tested for the COVID virus. If they test positive, they will be quarantined for 12 days and then only released back into restaurant upon doctor's notice. We understand the importance of keeping our environment safe and cherish our guests' trust in us. We will deliver a dining experience that they will not only enjoy, but will be assured they are delivered in the safest possible way. We're really excited to get back open and to serve you once again. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Michael Weymouth. I am the president of the Las Olas Company. The Las Olas Company also owns the Riverside Hotel. Riverside Hotel has 2 restaurants. So I'll speak ever so briefly because Tim, the benefit that we all have with Tim here, for me personally, what he has in his stable of restaurants is equivalent to about what we've got on the boulevard. So we follow what he does and most of the guidelines, or all the guidelines that he does as well. We do a couple things, I don't want to say over and above because I'm not sure exactly what all Tim's got in all of his places, but we have outfitted all of our restaurants with QR codes, so beyond getting the disposable menu, you can also come in, pull up our menus at all of our locations with the QR codes. We also implemented clear plexi dividers for additional comfort for people who just feel like 6 feet is not ample space between tables. So we've got that, and we are providing that as people requested. The other thing that we're doing, and then I'm going to segue into the boulevard a little bit. The other thing that we're doing is we have remote notification. We're getting remote notification, which when you come and you want a table, if right now we can't seat you right away, we get your information, and when your table is ready, then we send you a message and you come. In the meantime, while you're waiting, you can be strolling the boulevard, looking at all the shops, the new shops that are opening up. And so to that, I'm going to segue into that. There's a lot of excited shopkeepers and restaurateurs out on this boulevard. It has been a tough go for these guys. And so I want to thank the mayor and all the people at the city because we've been having a lot of protracted conversations about how to make the boulevard more desirable for the guests that come down here. We're talking about hopefully making a wider sidewalk for social distancing during phase 1 and phase 2, maybe trying to push some dining out into the areas beyond the property line, so that kind of thing. That's still conversation that's going on, but that would dramatically help all of our restaurateurs. I mentioned that we own the Riverside Hotel, so the hotel obviously does a lot of the exact same protocols. And to help you guys understand a little bit of what we do above and beyond that, we're constantly on an hourly basis going around and touching or cleaning all the high touch points, whether it's the elevator, elevator buttons, handles on doors, that kind of thing. We have multiple sanitation stations throughout the hotel. We don't do valet parking. If we have a guest that comes and they've got their own car, we let them park themselves. Couple more things. We are implementing UV wands and electronic sanitizers, much like what you see in the hospitals that we use to clean our hotels after our guests check out. And I think I probably have one more bullet point, and I'm going to turn it back to the mayor. Yeah, we are going to be buying infrared body scan cameras, so it'll hopefully replace the person coming up and holding the temperature gauge to your forehead, so that when people walk into our establishment, we can tell whether they are infirmed or not. So that's kind of what we're doing, in addition to what Tim was saying about that. Mayor?
Great, thank you so much, gentlemen. Notice my house guard is purple, very fashion forward. Just want you to notice that. Now we're going to hear from Melissa Milroy from the Galleria Mall to discuss what the retail establishments are doing to move forward into phase one. Melissa.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you so much. I do want to commend Mayor Trantalis and Chris Lagerbloom, our city manager, for all they have done over the last couple of months to ensure our safety and everything else that we've been going through. So I'm just going to highlight some of the things that the Galleria, well, let me start with this. The Galleria did start welcoming our customers and employees back to the center today. We represent a little over 2,000 employees at the center, so a lot of them are happy to get back to work, albeit the mall does look a little bit different today. Certainly not all of our stores and restaurants will reopen today, but we're getting back to that phase, which is welcoming. Some of the things, I'll highlight a few that we've done to ensure our shoppers' safety and confidence in coming back to this center include certainly mask requirements. I know we're all wearing masks here, but it's required for all of our employees and customers as they enter the center. We have increased signage and reminders throughout the center. Various signage promoting safe social distancing, health and safety standards, including traffic flow, queuing recommendations for elevators and escalators. We'll only allow one person or one family in an elevator at a time. And amenity availability, such as our common area furniture. It's all been moved around to ensure safe social distancing. Hand sanitizer stations. We'll have additional stations that will supplement all of the existing locations throughout the center. We've always had them, but we're just supplementing what we've always had to encourage safe hygiene practices. Touch-free interactions, touch-free points of entry. All of the doors will remain open, as well as touch-free solutions for our public restrooms will be in place to give peace of mind to both our employees and our shoppers. Water fountains, even if they're touchless, will be closed. Restrooms and include an enhanced cleaning schedule that's been developed up to the CDC guidelines. Strollers and wheelchairs, those type of amenities will not be provided until further notice. Curbside delivery, which is something that some of the stores and restaurants, while they've been closed, or restaurants I should say, will continue. We do have curbside delivery specific pickup locations in our garage, and once all of the stores are open, those that will offer curbside delivery pickup, that will give customers the ability to call and have somebody bring it out to them if they don't feel comfortable entering the center. Guest services will remain closed for right now, so we have signage posted at guest services. If anybody does need anything, they're welcome to call, and we will answer the phone and help provide them with any assistance that we can. And as many of you know, the Galleria does host many events for a lot of nonprofits throughout the year, and going forward until further notice, all of our large social gatherings like that will be temporarily discontinued. So. And I do want to mention escalator touch points, things like that. I know I mentioned the elevators. We will be installing in the next couple of weeks blue light technology on all of our escalators. We've put a significant amount of investment into that, so customers can feel safe and secure knowing that when they touch the escalators, they will be disinfected constantly. We have the capacity for each floor posted right now at 50% on all of the windows, so customers can feel confident knowing that there are only certain amounts of people allowed in each space, and the retailers do know that number as well as the restaurants. And I hope that everyone will, when they feel confident and safe to come out, will come out and visit us. We certainly look forward to welcoming everybody back. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Melissa. Really appreciate your being involved here today. We have two more speakers. The next one we have Destiny Squillante of Sullo Salon and Day Spa, who will talk to us a little bit about how salons will be reopening to protect public health. Destiny? Right behind me. There you go.
Thank you very much. Good job at pronouncing my name. Hi everybody, my name is Destiny Squillante and I work with Sullo Salon Day Spa in Fort Lauderdale. For the beginning phase of reopening the salon, we are running at half capacity. There will only be 4 stylists present at a time with 1 guest per stylist. We are currently providing services by appointment only. We have built partitions to create separation between the shampoo bowls and between the overhead dryers. We're booking 15 minutes in between appointments to ensure ample time to disinfect and cleanse every tool, every surface that's been touched, everywhere that has been used in the salon. And we've asked that each client call the front desk upon arrival and wait inside of their car until we are ready for them to enter the building. We'll be meeting them at the front door with hand sanitizer, and we will be walking them to the station so that they know where to go and there's no confusion or wandering around. All staff and clients are to wear a mask at all times while inside of the building. And as suggested, we have removed all the books and magazines so that a bunch of people aren't touching the same books and magazines. We're providing disinfectant for our guests' phones because they tend to use them while they're sitting at the salon. And we encourage our guests to pay with credit cards so that can be easily disinfected. It is very important to us that we ensure the safety of our community by following the guidelines that have been put in place by the CDC and by our local government. And it's an honor to be asked to represent the salon industry. I feel confident that we will provide an environment that is clean and safe for our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Destiny. I can attest to some of these protocols. Today, when I sat down in the chair to get my haircut, I was covered in plastic. Everyone was wearing coverings, gloves. Everything was amazingly responsible and responsive to those to those guidelines that we have designed for spas and hair salons. So finally, I'd like to introduce Clay Flotz of the Powerhouse Gym to speak regarding what measures gyms will undertake once they're effectively opened, and then right after that, we'll be happy to take questions. All right, Clay, are you here?
Good afternoon. Hi guys, my name is Clay Flotz. I own Powerhouse Gym, Fort Lauderdale, and I was engaged by the mayor's task force to provide some operational insight on how the CDC guidelines and best practices for mitigation could be applied to the context of gyms. So the aim here is to reduce the potential for health clubs to become vectors of transmission, right? And the guidelines were designed to support this aim through these various means of mitigation. First is 50% capacity, right? That's to reduce the occupational load of the space and thereby just creating one more barrier or veneer. The equipment is going to be spaced out at 6 feet or greater, and cardio is usually the low-hanging fruit there. So I can't think of one gym that won't have to move their cardio, fan it out, create some separation. We're going to have employees wear masks. We're going to have temperatures taken of members as a condition of entry. If they yield a temperature that is greater than 100.4 or equal to 100.4, then they will be denied entry. Employees will also have wellness checklists, and temperature is a part of that. So we'll take their temperature before their shift and then midway through their shift. If there's any yield at 100.4 or greater, they'll be sent home. We're asking members to wipe down their machines after they use them. Gyms it's kind of an autonomous experience, right? We can literally have a member come in and we never touch them. They scan their barcode, they go into the gym on their own volition, and then they're completely autonomous. So there is some dual agency here. We're expecting members to do their part while we do ours. We're asking for members and employees to practice social distancing, and we'll enforce that, and we'll reinforce that with signage throughout the club. We're asking that clubs demarcate social distancing markers at the front desk, and it's recommended other areas of congestion, maybe a stretch mat. You might want to mark your 6 foot and then another 6 foot. We're going to close showers down with the exception of gyms that have a pool. Those with a pool, the showers are only used for that purpose, for the pool purpose. We're going to close our water fountains. Bottle filling stations are a good alternative if you have them, but the default, I think it's better safe to just close them down. Any gym that has a daycare, we're asking that temperatures be taken of the children. Any temperature yielding at 100.4 or greater, they get sent home. Saunas are getting closed. Most saunas are around 100 square foot, so you can't fit more than 1 or 2 people and still maintain the social distancing. And those are our guidelines. There are some recommendations too by the CDC. If you're a gym owner or operator and you cannot find disinfectant, the CDC recommends using bleach, a 1/3 cup per gallon, and it'll kill whatever it's got to kill. But that's all.
Great, thank you.
You got it.
Great, thank you so much. By the way, when the governor did enter his order on Friday, opening museums and restaurants to 50% as well as gyms, he indicated that the Department of Business and Professional Regulation would be promulgating certain rules with regard to the protocols that gyms should follow. The protocols that Clay just spoke of enhanced those. In other words, added stricter rules, more comprehensive rules, and more complete rules that we feel are necessary in order to allow gyms to continue to function under Phase 1. So thank you again, Clay and everybody, Melissa, Dan, Bill, Mike, Tim, everyone who participated in the, is that Miguel? Thank you, nice to see you. Everyone who participated in the working group to try to come up with protocols that were necessary for our community to follow once we entered our Phase 1 reopening of businesses. So I'm here to take questions. Are there any questions?
Yeah, Mayor, whose job is it to monitor how things are going once the reopening begins? And who's going to pull the plug if cases start going up? Is it you or the county?
I think that collectively the county and the cities, all 31 cities, will be monitoring their areas. So obviously the county has a much larger responsibility because they cover the entire area of 2 million people. And so we're going to, through code enforcement as well as through police enforcement, we'll be monitoring our areas. But I just want you to know that much of it is going to be on the honor system. Let's face it. We're not going to be doing, going to every restaurant every hour. We're not going to be able to post a police officer on every corner. We're doing no bed checks. I mean, this is not what we're about. We're not about criminalizing the recovery. We're all about trying to seek enforcement of the protocols that keep everyone safe and healthy.
Mayor, what protocols are in place for contact tracing? Say, for example, if somebody does come back positive at a restaurant or a gym, what measures are in place to be able to track that down and tell those people they need to quarantine?
Well, we're still waiting for the county to come through with that. We were told that they were working on that, and we were asked to defer to them so they can become community-wide. Fort Lauderdale alone cannot limit the contacting between people because people come to our city every single day and they leave it every single day. So it makes more sense. I think we all believe that having the county come up with these protocols will allow us to best try to monitor and enforce those contact tracing protocols.
Mayor, how are you able to open the gyms when Broward County is not opening gyms?
Well, it's our position that the gyms can be open as a result of the governor's order that came down on Friday. There's a dispute between the city and the county with regard to that order, but as far as we're concerned, we should be able to resolve it tomorrow. The county commission will be meeting, the city commission will be meeting, and we've basically told the gyms to do so whether they, a lot of gyms, by the way, can't open. They just found out about it on Friday. A lot of them aren't really prepared to open, and so it's not really an issue for most gyms here in our community. So Instead of making it an issue, we're just going to try to resolve the issue. And I think that we're making progress in that regard.
Mayor, can you talk about why you feel it's okay for gyms to open?
Because the governor said it was. And as long as you follow those practices, those best practices as to health standards and safety and all of that, in addition to the ones we added that the Department of Business and Professional Regulation promulgated, I think that it should be pretty safe, it should be healthy, and I think we all need to get back to our gym regimen.
But for a gym that's open now, they can rest assured they're not going to be arrested by a county law enforcement official?
No one is going to be arrested. Is that it? Thank you, everybody.